not a multi-millionaire off the first record. You know, that's the beginning of the process. You get me? So, but yeah, it's weird that people assume that straight away. The moment they see you on the TV, they think because he's on TV, he's a millionaire. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. It's not what it is, man. There's a lot of people on television that, you know, they're doing well.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen overnight. It happens, okay, that's your foot in the door. You're on screen, on that big screen. But you got to work hard. You got to work hard for many years before you get those millions. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's a long process, man. It doesn't happen overnight.
Some people in the limelight industry do the opposite and think they're worth more.
Yeah.
And so they start saying, nah, I'm not going to turn up to that. I'm not coming to that unless you pay me this. And very quickly they get managed out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, people go, you think you're bigger than the industry.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced people like that around you?
I've seen it. I've seen it a lot. Yeah, I've seen it a lot. I don't want to mention any names, but I have seen that happen. And I've seen a lot of people's careers come crashing down, you know, because they get too much of an ego. They get too much of a chip on their shoulder because, you know, they've had a couple of big hits. They got paid some serious money, you know, but they slowly, because of their attitude and their ego, start fizzling out because people no longer want to work with you because they're like, well, you're not a great guy to work with, you know. I don't enjoy working with you. So why would I want to put myself in that again? You know, I had a bad experience.
How important is that? Like in terms
Very important, man.
Is it just as important as the talent?
100%. You know, bro. Look, listen. I'll be very, very real with you, right? And we were having this conversation the other day. I don't put myself out there. I'm not a singer, right? I sing, but I'm not a trained singer. If you put me on a vajja next to a singer with a vajja, he will annihilate me, okay? Because I have not been taught like that. I sing from my heart. I know how to write songs, and I did something right. I connect with people. When I sing, like, you know, when I sang that, people will be going, oh my God, he didn't even hit the note right. They'll be analyzing it. But I connected with you. You vibed off that, right?
Yeah.
That's what I bring. I bring a vibe. I bring connection, right? And I bring that energy. And that's what I'm getting still booked today. 22 years later, people are still picking up the phone because when I step on stage, I bring that whole room in and I take control and I'm there to do a job. I'm there to make them happy, entertain them, lift their spirits, regardless of where I'm at, right? And this is very difficult because I could be going through some serious trauma in my own personal life. But when I step on that stage, I've got to forget about all of that. And I've got to put on this, yo, what's happening?
Yeah.
Right. Bro, it's hard work.
Come on, bro.
Hard work.
And do you know what I really remember you for as well? Your crazy dance moves.
Yeah, they're still there.
Throw yourself in the middle and just that half cartwheel sort of like with your legs, and it's just like a vibe.
To this day, I was filming people last night.
Yeah.
These guys were on the stage doing my dance move. Like, and it's so nice to see, man, that all these years later, and I say it every time I go to every event, I say, thank you for having me. You know, thank you for calling me here today. Because I'm very fortunate that I'm still in this and the midst of it, you know, and in and amongst all the young, new, hip artists that are the current vibe and the current trend. I'm still in and amongst it all. I'm still on those same flyers. You know, I could have been taken out a long time ago and replaced by someone else. But you know, without sounding cocky, it's hard to replace Juggy D. You know, I believe in myself, and that's something that I'm proud of. You know, because I worked hard. And that's not coming with ego, that's coming with just confidence of that I've worked hard, man. And I've worked hard to better myself all the time.
100. You mentioned something a little bit earlier about you had to tell your parents that I'm not getting paid right now, but it's coming, you know, and sometimes, especially our Asian parents can be the most, you know, army generals there. What are you doing? Well, what's your time? What you think this is gonna? You're putting yourself out there, you know, nazar, all of that. You know, people are gonna be, you know, looking down at you. You're a loafer. You're not doing nothing. You think you're gonna be this, you're that, until it happens. But you know, then they support you and stuff. But what do you say when you're giving advice to the next generation when you have people like your parents who created you are thinking with their own thoughts and their own beliefs? They're going through their system, not what they think you're actually capable of.
You've just got to, I guess, you know, I can only go from my experience. You've just got to reassure them that it's going to be okay, you know, and you've got confidence in yourself. Because what I used with my parents was that, look, Dad, all I'm doing is putting time into this. I'm not putting money into it.
Right.
It's not a business that I have to invest so much money and then, oh my God, I'm down this much money. How am I going to make it back? And what if it's not a success? We're going to be down, right? Still down. All I'm doing is investing my time and my effort. So I'm in a good business. I'm in a good position to start with because I've not had to financially invest in this. I've just have to put my time into it. So they were like, okay, Jal Tika, I'd get by. I'd buy a bit more time off them. I'd buy a bit more time and just saying, don't worry, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. All this, that money that you were not seeing just yet, there's going to come a time where it's going to cover that year or two threefold, or whatever it is. So they were okay with
It's a bit strange, like the different cultures, like, you have different cultures, like English people will say, go on, go for it, we'll support you. And then we'll have like, we're just trying to fight for that. Can I have one more day, please? Like, it's just a bit like, do you think things have changed?
I think so, yeah, big time, man. Because look, they can see it. Our parents can all see that, footballers make millions. Property, there's so much money to be made. That's, bricks and mortar. You can never go wrong, right? There's always going to be a demand for that. Sports that people, didn't get paid highly for now are getting some crazy, insane money. And artists are getting paid some big bucks. Like, look at, today's, in today's, we finally got to those big stages, arenas, selling out arenas. We've got artists now that are doing that, and that's so good to see.
Yes.
We had a taste of that, but it was still on a smaller scale, where we were still part of a group of people that were doing it. We opened for Missy Elliott in Birmingham. We opened for Busta Rhymes, and those were big sellout arenas, but we were like support acts. But now we've got our Punjabi artists that are headlining, only them on that show. There's no support acts, and people are coming out to see them in the thousands. That's mad, and that's where our parents now have gone. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to just be a dentist or a doctor,
It's true.
You can do something else and make money. And what my parents always said was, but jeda tu kam karna, and I'll say this in English as well for the people that don't understand Punjabi. But in Punjabi, I will say it first because I just feel it holds a lot more kind of, it comes across better, right? Jeda kam karna tu dat ke karna, right? Make sure you give it your heart and soul. So whatever work you're going to do it with 110% of your effort. Because if you're not going to give it 110%, don't waste your time, because you can put that energy somewhere else. And sometimes I laugh when I say, when I now talk about my drinking days, I say, I blame my dad for that. He said, whatever you do, son, do it to the best of your ability. And I said, I drank to the best of my ability. I said, so that's his fault, man. That was a bit of a nutter on it. But now it's not like that, you know what I mean? And he's proud of me now as well. My parents are very proud. I can openly talk to him about, not doing the things that I used to do. And they're cool with it, man, because they say, look, everybody goes through stuff. Everyone's got their own journey.
Of course.
And we're just so proud that you've come through that, and now we can sit here and they know, and I purposely now, when I walk through the door, it could be like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And I've come from a gig or something, and I'll walk in and my dad's just woken up to go to the bathroom. I'll go right up close to him and give him a hug and say, good dad, you all right? So he can smell me. And I'm doing it so he can smell that I don't smell of cigarettes and I don't smell of alcohol. Do you know what I'm saying? So it gives him that reassurance that, is he still doing it? Is he still trying to have a little cheeky one? Is he trying to pull the wool over our eyes? And that's just me reassuring him without saying a word. But because they're not stupid, right? They know, they can smell it. Like, when we were younger, and for those of you that have smoked, you think that your parents aren't going to smell it because you've had a bit of gum and you've washed your hands and you've put a bit of deodorant on. Man, you still stink of fags, right? You still stink. When you walk through that door, it lingers in with you. And they know you're smoking. But they might not mention it because they think, no, I don't want to admit that my son's doing that. And we don't admit it to our parents because it's a respect thing, right? And that's our culture. But when you've come through it and you can sit down and say, yeah, Dad, I don't drink, I don't smoke, and you say it with confidence, they're proud of you, man. They're proud of you because it's a culture that we come from, that it's not really acceptable. Smoking is not acceptable in Punjabi culture, So for them to see you go through stuff and have your ups and downs, they'll always be very proud of you with whatever you do, you know, whether it's working or going through whatever you've been through in life. But, you know, I think no matter, as long as you put 110% into whatever you do, they'll always be proud of you, man.
100. And just before I move on from that point, is you yourself have been a big part of that, the new stars that are here today, because you've changed that belief system that Asian people can get on the mic and rock it. You don't have to be the best singer, as you said, but your performance, your you know, your unique ability to come on that stage and dance and move is probably inspired the next generation already to say, I can do that, which is some of these people on stages right now, they probably listen to music. I know I definitely was listening to your music in college, etc. So big respect to you, my bro.
No worries, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So Juggy, the big one comes. Dance with You 2003.
Yeah, man.
Talk to me about it, bro.
Oh man, Dance with You. What a journey, and what a track. That was to be part of, man. I can look back and only say, you know what, I was so so happy to be part of that song, because that song created a movement. It was not, we didn't plan to make a band or have a, you know, a trio. We were all individual artists. I'd already been, you know, I'd already stepped into the industry with Najina and the Craig David track. So I was already in the scene, you know. Jay had just started working with Rishi. He'd got his demo in front of Rishi. Rishi had been working with him, and in my first song, Najina, Jay was in there. He was in the background.
Okay.
He'd come down to our shoot, and you could call him an extra if you want, because
Jay Sean was your extra.
Yeah, he didn't know, because he hadn't released anything then. He was part of a group, but they were unknown. They were like kind of that underground kind of vibe, and nobody knew who he was. So he had just started working with Rishi, and Rishi invited him down to my video shoot. So we all got to meet him there, but like I said, nobody knew who he was. And he went by the name of I can't remember what his other name was in his group, but his name was Kamaljeet Duty, right? And it was Nicky J. That's what he went by. He was like, "No, this is Nicky." And so yeah, he was at the shoot, and then shortly after that, the song came out. Me and Rishi had been working together, and then one day I got a call from Rish, and he's like, "Jugs, where are you? What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, nothing. I'm at home." And he's like, "Okay." He goes, "Remember I told you about that guy? He came to your shoot, Nicky." And I was like, "Oh yeah." He goes, I've just been working with him on some stuff. I want you to come down and have a listen." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "Come down." And I was like, "All right, cool." I said, I'll pop down in a bit. So I drove down to the studio, and they were all there. Manager that had signed Rishi as a producer, called Rob. That was 2.9, but 2.9 didn't exist then. That was just Rob, right?
Okay.
And there was a guy called Billy. But in the studio was Rob, Rishi, and as we know him now, Jay. All in the studio. He starts playing this record, and I'm listening to it, and I'm standing by the door, and I'm just nodding my head, and I'm like, "Yeah, man, this is a vibe. It's a vibe." I'm listening to it, and this, you know, his hook comes on. "I just want to dance with you." And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, I've heard it a few times, and I went, "Oh, my tateri naal nachna." And they all just stopped and went, "What was that?" And I went, "What?" They said, "What did you just say there?" I said what he said in English, in Punjabi. And they went, "Mate, that sounded sick." The manager was like, "Okay, hold on a minute. This is, we're onto something here." Because I was just there to just have a listen, just generally. There was nothing more to happen. It was just me hearing their new record. That was it. And then it was like, okay, hold on a minute. We're trying to break. So they were a record label looking for a ethnic producer to break into the mainstream. That was their mission, right? Sorry, that was their mission. So they signed Rishi. And then when Rishi got signed to them as a producer, they were looking for an artist. So that was then Jay. So they were now looking at what they can get from him to put out as a single, or potentially sign him, right? So he wasn't signed either yet. They were just working. He was just working with him. And then this was like the potential first single to get signed. So it was a whole process going on, and it was heading in that right direction, but it was a build up to it, right? And that was what happened at the time. And then it was like, well, Jugs, can you go in and record that? Can you put that down? And I'm like, okay. So went in, put it down, put the hook down, and they went, yeah. And he put it in, and he went, yeah, this is sounding crazy. And he's like, all right, listen, can you record a verse for me?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right, cool. So we chopped up this verse, wrote it out, and put the verse down. And he was like, man, this is a vibe. And the Gora, the manager, Rob, he was like, listen, this could be something actually here, because we're trying to break Indian artist into the mainstream. He's got his R&B vibe, but you've also brought your Indian culture. It's a fusion of the two. Perfect. This works for us. Like, all right, cool. So I was featured on that song. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know where it was going to go. Next thing we know, there's a video shoot happening, and it gets signed. The song gets signed, right? And it came out on. It came out with Relentless, and it all happened so crazy, like everything that was happening. And I was standing at the back. The song's unfolding in the video shoot, and all these dancers and b-boys and b-girl and you know, hip hop dancers and all that are doing their thing. And I said to Rishi, I said, listen, I said, this got this Punjabi touch to it. I said, there's no bhangra happening. He's like, can you dance? And I went, yeah. He said, you do it. And I went, all right then. So I walked out and I started doing my moves and all that. And that's where part of the Juggy D dance started from. And that was it. That song was made like off chance. It wasn't planned. It was just made organically on the off chance that if I was not at home that day and I was out of town, would have never have happened. So
wow,
that shaped all three of our careers.
How did you have the confidence to just get up in there and dancing like everyone's choreographed and shooting this video, and you just
Well, it
jumped
was
in?
freestyle. That, I guess, was part of it as well, because everyone was just freestyling.
Okay.
There was no choreography.
Right.
It was like a street vibe,
Yeah.
and it was very, very chilled. It was in Feltham, this pedestrianised area in front of a shop front, and that's why it was like I was like a little bit hesitant first, because I was like, you know, these are all professional dancers. I'm just this kid from Southall that does bhangra at weddings, right? So, and I was like, I don't know whether I should or whether I shouldn't. And he was like, "No, go on, you do it. And he just gave me a bit of encouragement. And yeah, next thing you know, I'm busting some shapes, some bhangra shapes in the video, and that was it. That was the rest was history, man. And Dance With You at number 12 in the national charts.
Come on.
And then we were on top of the pops.
How did that feel?
Unbelievable. That was the mum, look, we made it. So that is the process of me saying, when you get on TV, that's you made it to go further. That's like, okay, now we've put our foot down and we've made a mark in the industry now. Anything we did before that was like, okay, yeah, it's cool. But now we're on top of the pops. Right, now we can go, okay, more music, more tours, more this, more that. People are now going to start recognizing and going, okay, we want to see these guys here. Right, we need to book them for this. And that's when things start happening. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
did you start getting recognized more after that?
Yeah, of course,
How did that
man.
feel?
It was mad. And not just by Indians, black kids, white kids, like everyone. And it was insane, man. Like walking down the street and going, oh, you're that guy from that video. And I'm like, yeah, can I get a picture? And it was like, when it first was happening, it was like, wow, this is mad. Like, we're famous. Like, people know us, right? And it was so funny because, thanks. Oh my God, I have to laugh at this. Some days when we were younger, me and Jay used to sit in the car and we'd be driving home from the studio. It was like, oh, should we go down the Broadway to soak up some love? Let's see how many people recognize us.
Oh, wow.
We used to do that. And we used to sit there and we used to go, do you think Dre and Eminem and Jay-Z lot did this when they were coming up and they were getting recognized? I'm like, they must have though, right? Because imagine, like, you're in the limelight, you've just become a little bit popular at something you're doing, and you're on a big screen and people are recognizing you. You're gonna go and soak that up a bit. it's natural to do that, right? So yeah, we used to have some fun with it, man. It was crazy. It was some really, really, really good times, man. Really good times.
What's Jay Sean like?
He's cool, man. He's cool. He's cool. He's you know, everybody has their okay, so with the three of us, I was a very social guy, right? Rishi was very reserved, and Jay was, he's the unapproachable one. That's how people painted the picture of all of us. They were like, oh, he's very unapproachable. He's got a bit of a big ego, right? And that's how everybody looked at us. Like, that's you. And it wasn't like that though, because you just had to get to know him a bit more. You know, he is, you know, now all these years on, we just do our own thing. Everyone's doing their own thing. Jay does his thing. I do my thing. Rishi does his thing. We've all got our own, you know, foot in and stand in our industry as individuals. We went from individuals to together for 5-6 years, and then we went off, and we are our own people again. You know, there's Juggy D is Juggy D in his own right, Jay Sean in his own right, and Rishi Rich in his own right. But when on the odd occasion, every so often, every few years or 5 years, whatever, we do a record together, it's something special. You know, so yeah, it's nice, and people enjoy listening to it, and they wait for it. You know, don't know when there's going to be another one, but
that'll be fire, man. Look, I wanna play a little game with you right now. So being that you told me that you heard Jay was singing, I just want to dance with you, and you made it into Punjabi. We're gonna go through 10 songs right now. Yeah, just a little chorus bit.
Yeah.
And you're gonna sing it in Punjabi.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's see if you never know.
I never know. We might get a feature on someone.
Okay. So this one, "Shape of You" by Ed Sheeran. I'm in love with the shape of you. Come on, you're the Punjabi one, bro. You can pass if you want.
No, so Tere jism di tauba tauba, tere jism di tauba tauba, and that's from the song now as well. Tauba tauba, but that's what it means, isn't it? Your jism is your body.
Yeah,
I'm in love with the shape of you. So yeah, tere jism di tauba tauba. There you go.
Nice.
That's the translation in Punjabi.
I don't know if I'm gonna get this right. "Rolling in the Deep," Adele. I don't even know how I can bloody sing this now. We could have had it all. Rolling in the deep.
Okay, pass.
Okay, forget that one.
Yeah, forget that.
Okay, "Blinding Lights" by The Weeknd. I said, oh, I'm blinded by the lights.
That's quite easy actually. Lighta ne menu anna karta.
Okay, next one.
I'm just doing direct translations now.
That's fine.
I'm not even going to sing.
You never know.
Direct translation.
One of them might vibe. You just never know that moment.
Well, the Jism di Toba Toba was a good one.
I like that.
I think that was a good one.
I think you should make a song of that. "Can't Stop the Feeling," Justin Timberlake. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. ਅੱਜ ਧੁੱਪ ਨਿਕਲੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਐਂਕਾਂ ਲਾਈਆਂ ਮੇਰੀਆਂ. I've changed it from feet to sunglasses, but anyway, I'm clearly not good at this. Next one, "Uptown Funk" by Mark Ronson.
Oh, that's one of my favorite songs.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Okay. मेरी गल्ला ना सुनो, बस देखी जाओ.
That was good, bro.
मेरी गल्ला ना सुनो, मैंने देखी जाओ. Yeah.
I think you could put a little beat behind that. "All of Me," John Legend. 'Cause all of me loves all of you.
मैं तेनू बहुत प्यार करदा. सारे दिल नाल तेनू प्यार करदा.
All right. "Happy" by Pharrell Williams. Because I'm happy, clap along like a room without a roof.
ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਸ਼ ਆਂ, आज मैं खुश हूँ, मारो ताड़ियाँ, आज मैं खुश हूँ, let's मारो ताड़ियाँ. There you go. That's enough. Let's move on now.
One more.
Go on.
Let's do one more.
You're enjoying this more than me.
Yeah. Okay, Shape of My Heart by Backstreet Boys. Looking back on the things that I have done, I was trying to be someone.
Looking back at the thing. I'm going to pass on that one.
All right, cool. Well, big hand for that. I did like the first one though.
The first one was.
I think you should think about it one, bro. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a rundown with some of your music. So you did Saunier in 2004, featuring Rishi. Any funny stories behind any of these?
This is loads of stories, man. Saunier. No, Saunier was with Mentor. A lot of people think that Rishi produced Saunier, but it wasn't. It was Mentor that produced Saunier.
Okay, even Wikipedia thought it was Rishi.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, it was Mentor that produced. So Rishi produced Negina, and he produced all the majority of the features that I did was produced by Rishi, and there was a few that I did features with Mentor. But yeah, the album, my first solo album, which came out in 2004, self-titled Juggy D, was heavily produced by Mentor.
Yeah. Next one, Below.
Below was
that was quite desi.
Yeah.
With a little tumbi in there.
Below Karla Beloria Ka Samane Jat Tenu Labda Fere. That was a very desi one, but production very up tempo, very hype. Always dance floor banger goes off. Even yesterday, I mean over the weekend, the weddings that I was doing, what I've started doing now is I tailor the song. I switch up the lyrics. So the song's name is Below. But yesterday, the bride's name was Babita, and the groom's name was Pavan. So I changed the lyrics for them on the day. So instead of calling the song, and I turn it into like a little skit, so it's interaction with the crowd and the bride and groom. So the brides. So I said basically that my song, the next track I'm going to perform is Below, but today I'm going to call it Babita, and it goes Babita Karla Beloria Kasamane ni Pavantinu Labda Fire, and then the track drops, and then that's what we do throughout the song. We put their names in it, so it gives them that personal touch, and that song now becomes part of them. You know what I mean?
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, man.
So you bring the crowd in. It
makes
it relatable.
Absolutely, man. That's what it's about.
Go Larger.
Go Larger. Oh, that was a sick track, man. That was a vibe. That was with featured Jin from Rough Riders, man. Chinese rapper, bad boy. Yeah, that was a sick collab, man, because he was big that time as well. Yeah. And to get that collab, and then he flew down. He came down. We were in the video together, and we did an anime. That was one of the first animated videos ever to be made on green screen. And I was in India Taxi. He was in the back, and I was driving an India Taxi, and that was done on green screen. And at the end, there was a beetle in there, a blue beetle. That was actually my beetle, but we used the animated version of it. I used to have I only just got rid of it recently. I had a 1969 VW Beetle, fully restored, but it'd seen better days, so I had to get rid of it. I just didn't have the time or patience to kind of restore it anymore. So
do you like classic cars?
I love classic cars, man.
What's your favorite right now?
My favorite right now, which I would love to buy, is a Mustang, an old school Mustang though, not the new ones. I think the new ones are pants.
Yeah, the Ford ones.
Yeah, they're rubbish. But the old Ford Mustang, they're like a 1960s one. You know, beautiful, man, beautiful cars. That raw, proper. That's a proper American muscle, that that V12 beast. Yeah, man. I love
what's a real favorite of mine right now? The E30 2.5i.
Okay, BMW, right.
The two-door.
I've never really been into BMWs. Never been a big fan of them. I like the look of them, but I've never been a big fan. I've never owned a BMW. I've always been.
That's our dad's, isn't it?
Yeah,
you're gonna get stopped.
I don't know, man. I just never was in it. My first ever car, I was more into Fords, like classics. My first car was a Mark 1 Escort.
Oh,
Mark 1
nice.
Escort, 1974,
Mm,
1300E. I had the
mhm,
Recaro fishnet headrest, the bucket
mm.
seats, all the wood paneling, real wood, not this plastic painted stuff. You know what I mean? Like proper. It
Proper.
was, yeah,
They're
man.
worth money now as well.
Yeah, I wish I'd kept out, but those are different times of your,
Yeah,
your journey and that. But that was my first car many, many years ago.
100.